Hey guys, this is Dennis Wolf, and this is the new cover of Muscular Development. Please check it out, pick it up at the stores. MD is #1, no bull.
Shawn Ray here with McGough and David Baye. We are at Meet the Olympians, which starts first at 7 o'clock here with all the VIPs. They're lined up, queued up, getting ready to go upstairs, meet all the superstars of the 50th anniversary of the Joe Weider Mr. Olympia. Now, Peter, this wasn't something that we had back when I was competing, but it was added. Weider AMI came in and they added a lot of other extra events for these guys to meet the champions. What do you make of this queue going all the way back there just to meet these guys?
Well, it's enormous. I mean, I don't know how many people here. There looks like 3,000 or 4,000, and it's not even open yet. You know, there's probably going to be 10,000 people coming through here.
Yeah, and it's part of the VIP package that they get in at 7 o'clock. Then it opens to the general public. David, you're new to this experience. Talk to me about what you experience right now.
Well, you know, I was here last year. Was my first time here, so obviously the 50th anniversary. I'm still trying to take all this in. The number of fans here on both sides. Actually, one side is a VIP line. The general admission line is already backed up, and it's literally. I'm not even exaggerating. It's probably going back like a half mile. I mean, so there's a ton of fans here, you know. But it's the 50th. Everybody wants to meet their favorite athletes, and this is a really good opportunity. And you know, one of the things we talk about on the forums a lot is the opportunity for bodybuilding fans to meet and greet and interact with their favorite professionals in a way that fans in other sports don't necessarily get to do. So this is a big deal for these fans, and it should be.
Yeah, and we know that big Joe Weider and Ben Weider, his brother, are looking down on this weekend. It is historic in many proportions. 1965, we started this thing off, Peter, and you're a historian. $1.1 million in prize money. Mr. Olympia is going to get $275,000. We saw the hotly contested press conference. Beyond all of that, the growth, I mean, the Olympia's here at the arena, the Expo's all the way at the convention center. Now we've got CrossFit, we've got functional training, the bikini competition. I mean, what can you speak to the growth of this event?
Well, you go and draw a comparison. 1965, Brooklyn Academy of Music, 3 competitors. No Expo, nobody knew what an Expo was. Maybe 2,000 in the audience who went nuts. Fast forward to today, like you say, the 1.1 million. I mean, Larry didn't get he got a crown Larry Scott got a crown for the first win, $1,000 the next year. The prize money today is enormous. Even the 17 men in the Open have all had to qualify through maybe 20 contests to get here. We've got hundreds of athletes in all the pro divisions. We've got a 10,000 audience expected tomorrow night. We've got you, we've got me, we've got Dave. I'm going to burst into tune in a minute. But, yeah. For me to go back to the 70s when I got into it, this is like, I don't know, Valhalla. You would never thought it was going to be this big.
Yeah, I think what we're going to remember from this weekend, David, when it concludes on Saturday night, where either the 14th Mr. Olympia will be crowned, or the 13th will hold on for record number, well, not record, but for his 4th time. The growth is probably what we're going to remember, because what Joe and Ben started out with just trying to bring together the Mr. Universes and Mr. Americas to compete against each other, Mr. World bodybuilders, has grown into this multi-billion-dollar supplement industry. The magazine industry is still very strong. The digital component is strong. But more importantly, the component of inclusion, bikini, fitness, physique, bodybuilding. I mean, we've got a little bit of everything here, along with NBC covering it for national television.
Yeah, you know, the inclusion is a big thing. You know, and one of the things that some of the hardcore bodybuilding fans talk about is their discontent with the addition of all these new divisions. But, you know, I think it should be the flip side. It's like everybody out there has different fitness goals. And what the NPC and the IFBB has done is they said, okay, let's take this person's fitness goal, let's create a division for it. Let's grow and change with, the different landscape of fitness. And that's has a lot to do with the numbers of people that we have here. You know, if it was just a bodybuilding show, just a men's bodybuilding, the numbers that we have here, it wouldn't be this big. Obviously it'd still be a big event with how good the lineup is in men's bodybuilding. But again, these numbers has a lot to do with the addition of these divisions and just expanding the fan base by just, ridiculous numbers.
Well, at the end of the day, this weekend is going to be about winners and losers. And one person that can literally blow the doors off this thing is 9-time Miss Olympia, Iris Kyle. She's got 9 titles. that nobody else in the history of our industry has. She could be going for a record number 10, or she could be upset by maybe last year's runner-up, Alina Popa.
Yeah, that's going to be a real matchup. A lot of people thought that Iris might not have won the 9th last year, but I've seen pictures of her lately. I mean, she's a remarkable bodybuilder. You know, she could win a men's middleweight division quite easily. I mean, she's refined. You know, she's got all that detail in there. She's got the shape. She's probably one of the best conditioned athletes we've ever seen, and I would think she's good enough. After last year's little bump, she knows she's got a competition on her hands this year. I think she'll take the 10th.
Yeah, well, I mean, Iris is in a league of her own. If women's bodybuilding is dead, I got to tell you, it's alive and well with what Iris Kyle has done. Speaking about the 202-pound, another division, or 212-pound, another division, it looks like we have someone that's got a stronghold on that title, and James Flex Lewis could be going for number 3 in a row.
Yeah, I don't see anybody beating Flex. I mean, he's just comes in, he's got everything. He's huge for a 212 competitor. He brings the conditioning. He's got great proportions and symmetry. His presentation is as good as anybody in bodybuilding. That being said, the 212 lineup is pretty incredible. I think the battle from second place, all the way down to 8th or 9th is going to be really good. We've got Eduardo Correa, we've got last year's runner-up David Henry, Samuel Haddad, we've got newcomers Aaron Clark, Guy Cisternino. Charles Dixon is looking incredible, and I'm probably dropping a name, Jose Raymond. I mean, the 212 lineup this year is going to be every bit as competitive as the open lineup, but like you said, Flex Lewis does, in my opinion, I agree with you, he does have a stronghold on this division.
Well, one new division, that's the men's physique. We saw a year ago Mark Anthony win this. I know you're not an expert on men's physique, neither am I, but I got to tell you, he was a pretty good representative of last year, but what I saw this year, with all these competitions coming up, the men's physique champion is evolving from one show to the next.
Yeah, I mean, this is indicative of what happens to new classes. They start off at one level. These guys are getting bigger and more cut and rounder. Some of them are starting to look a bit like you're ready for the bodybuilding class now. I like the look of Jason Poston all year. He's really made great strides, and he's another one, very articulate, same as Anthony. It's now established that we've got a battle. We've got personalities in that division, and people are, well, who's going to do it? It'll be interesting to watch.
It certainly will. And speaking of battles, Dana Lynn Bailey won the physique for the women. Does she have a battle on her hands defending that title?
She most certainly does, and it goes exactly off of what Peter just said. The women's physique division is developing and it's advancing. You had a lot of girls in this division that were former bodybuilders, trying to find their way in the division, see what the judges are looking for. The first person that comes to my mind, Juliana Malacarne, won the New York Pro last year, won some shows this year. Last year at the Olympia, she got knocked down a little bit because they were saying she's too big. She's downsized, but she still has those great muscle bellies, that flow, that symmetry, and there's some other names that are going to pop up in there too. Tycee Cope placed real high last year, as well as Sabrina Taylor is going to be up there. It's going to be a real battle for Dana. Now, Dana's been busting her butt all year. Anybody that follows her knows that she's working as hard as anybody else in the industry, and she's going to have to, because she's going to have her hands full.
Along with that, in the bikini division, Peter, an area that you and I are kind of novice in terms of judging, but we are not blind to see that Ashley Kaltwasser, she did a great job last year, but does she have a stronghold on that title? Because the bikini is probably more competitive than any division out there.
What David said.
Exactly what David said. But we will be watching, correct?
I will be watching, but I take a very aesthetic view of it. I'm at an age when I look, and memories, never mind.
Yeah, we just appreciate the tan skin and the nice hairdos and the nice multicolored outfits that they wear.
I was just left interviewing Dorian Yates, you, and Flex Wheeler. I could have had a ball 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, David and I still got another 20 years ahead of us, but there's a lot to be done. These guys are starting to come in, the VIPs. In another hour, they'll let the general public in, and of course, up at the top of the stairs awaits new Olympia winners, potentially, that we're going to find out in 24 hours when we have the prejudging, and then, of course, the finals on Saturday. And we can't leave out the fitness. Of course, Adela Garcia, I believe, has 8 fitness titles to her credit. I was told she's not competing to defend that title.
Yeah, it was kind of up in the air. I didn't really know until just recently. That being said, with Adela out, I would think that your 2 front runners are going to have to be Chanji Johnson and Oksana Grishina. Oksana, absolutely incredible at the Arnold this year, is one of the most entertaining, and she really just captivates the whole audience when she gets up there. And one of those competitors where people are genuinely excited and anticipated, to see what kind of routine she's going to bring. She did a crazy routine last year here at the Olympia with a Joker from The Dark Knight, the Batman thing, and just really captivated the audience. So again, it's another division where it's going to be really tough. But I think if I had to pick two that are going to be really battling it out for it, Tanji or Oksana, and Odella's had that for the last 8 years. So it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be neat seeing a new Miss Olympia crown for the fitness division.
That'll be one to watch.
Yeah, help me out here, David. Who was the girl who won the Tampa show in the fitness class?
This year, Bethany's sister Nino.
I mean, she had a great physique and a great routine. And I looked at her at Tampa and thought she could give Odella some problems, so I'd have to throw her into the mix.
And Bethany's got several titles to her credit. Definitely a formidable competitor. All that stuff's going to be answered in 48 hours because it's only Thursday here. And the figure, this is the longest preview. Who won the figure last year?
Nicole Wilkins won last year, back and forth for a few years between her and Aaron Stern. Nicole wins it, loses it, wins it, loses it. Candice Keene, your Miss International Arnold Classic winner, is coming here. One of my personal favorites in all of figure, Latoya Watts, coming off a big win in Tampa. We have Anta Tony, we have Kamala Rodriguez.
We could be here for quite a while. We're going to come back tomorrow after the prejudging wrap up to give you some of the results and our thoughts on who's going to walk away with the 50th anniversary of the Sandow Trophy at the Joe Weider Mr. Olympia weekend. For David Baye, Peter McGough, I'm Shawn Ray, musculardevelopment.com.